Hi everyone, today I'm sharing a recipe that really close to my heart. This Monastery Hut cookies, inspired by or based on this Monastery Hut cake. The cake that my mom used to make when I was a little, and now I make these little treats for my own children. The best part for these cookies is that there is no added sugar. However, if you would like to make it as a cake, I'll be happy to share with you a recipe for a very simple 2-ingredient cream, so you can make it as a cake. Now, I'm not a professional chef or anything fancy like that. My passion is really making special treats for my children and family. And now I would love to share this recipe with you. So if you like me that want to make something special for your family, let's get started. You like the cookie?
Yeah.
For this recipe we'll need cherries, butter, sour cream and flour. Yes, that's simple. Exact measurements are in the description below, or you can pause the video and take a quick screenshot. Okay, let's kick things off with our dough. We are starting with about 350 grams or 12 ounces of all-purpose flour. Don't worry, we can always adjust later if needed. Now for the start of our dough, butter, and it needs to be very cold. I highly recommend freezing it for a few hours or even overnight for the best results. First step is to grate that super chilled butter directly into the flour. This is where speed is your friend. Work quickly because warm hands are the enemy of cold butter. And here's a pro tip, don't try to grate it all at once. Grate a portion, then immediately mix it into the flour. I'm using a scraper to do this. If you don't have one, a regular icing spatula or even a kitchen knife works too. A scraper is invaluable here because we want to avoid direct hands contact as much as possible to prevent that butter from melting. As you are grating, occasionally toss the grated butter directly into the flour. This helps keep it coated and prevents clumping. Once all your butter is grated and mixed in, add a pinch of salt. If you're using salted butter, you can skip this step. Give it one final thorough mix. Next up, our sour cream. When it comes to baking, precision is key. I'm grabbing my trusty kitchen scale, zeroing out with our flour and butter mixture on top. You're looking for dense, thick sour cream, not the runny kind. I found the one from Costco works beautifully for its rich consistency. Once your sour cream is in, start mixing everything together with your scraper, and then it's time to get your hands in there and bring it all together. It might feel a bit crumbly at first, but keep working it. Soon it will transition into a beautiful elastic dough. We are aiming for a beautiful ball here. Your dough should come in at about 750 to 800 grams or 1.7 pounds. Now we are going to divide this dough. We need to split it into 5 equal portions. I've calculated, and each portion should be roughly 155 grams or 5.5 ounces. Roll each piece into a ball or a rectangular shape. Once you have all 5 portions ready, place them on a plate, cover them with plastic wrap and pop them into a refrigerator for about an hour. This will make the dough much easier to work with later on. While the dough is chilling, let's get our cherries ready. Now, ideally you're using fresh or thawed cherries, but if you like me and forgot to take them out of the freezer in time, don't panic. Here's a quick fix. Grab a colander and a pot with a bit of water, then place the colander on top of the pot, kind of like a mini steam bath. Add your frozen cherries and heat gently over the stove. In just a few minutes the steam will thaw them perfectly without turning them into a mush. Once they are soft, let them sit in the colander for a few more minutes to drain off any extra juice. Alright, an hour has passed and our dough is perfectly chilled and ready to go. We'll work with one dough portion at a time, keeping the rest in the refrigerator. Lightly flour your work surface, take one dough ball out and place the other back in the fridge to stay cold. Press down on your dough ball and start rolling it into a rectangular shape. If it feels too cold or stiff, let it sit for a few minutes to warm up slightly, just until it's softened enough to roll without cracking. But don't let it get too warm. We are aiming for rectangular roughly 30 by 25 centimeters or 12 by 10 inches. The shape doesn't need to be perfect. If the edges are a little uneven, that's totally fine. Homemade is always beautiful. Now cut your rectangular into 3 equal stripes, approximately 8 centimeters by 30 centimeters or 3 1/4 inch by 12 inches. Then start placing your cherries along each strip. I like to split my cherries in half before placing them. If you don't have cherries, no problem. Feel free to experiment with other fillings like plums or dried apricot, maybe with some chopped walnuts together. Wild cherries are traditional for this cake, your kitchen, your rules. My cherries are sweet, so I'm skipping the sugar. If you prefer using tart cherries, which can add a lovely tang, and you like a sweeter profile, feel free to add a little sugar to them. Next, carefully roll each strip into a tube. To help seal the end, you can brush it with a little water or even dampen your finger and run it along the edge. This helps the dough stick and keeps your roll securely closed. Place each roll seam side down on a parchment-lined baking tray. Make sure to leave some space between them as they will expand in the oven. As you can see here, my little boy is already super excited about these upcoming treats. It's moments like this that makes baking so much fun. Once you have enough rolls on your baking tray, go ahead and preheat your oven to 390 degrees Fahrenheit or approximately 200 degrees Celsius. We'll be baking these rolls for about 18 to 20 minutes or until they are beautifully golden and lightly crisp on the outside. Once they're done, take them out of the oven. At this point, you've got two options. Slide them into cookies and dust with powdered sugar, easy and delicious.
Yum yum.
You guys want to try it?
Yeah.
Then you want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a cookie.
Let me say which one do you want?
This. Mama broken flower.
What do you think? How is it?
Arrow.
It's still warm. Do you like the cookie?
Don't leave me now.
Okay, I guess. Or if you're here for the grand finale, the cake Monastery Hut, then keep watching because I'm going to show you how to turn these rolls into amazing layered cake. Alright, let's talk cream, because this is what turns our simple cherry rolls into an unforgettable cake. We only need 3 ingredients for the cream: butter, sweetened condensed milk, and sour cream. We'll need a saucepan, ideally one with a thick bottom so nothing burns. I'm making a smaller version of the cake today using just 9 rolls, so I'm going with a smaller batch of cream, but if you're using all 15 rolls, check the description, I've listed the larger version too. Pour in the condensed milk, I'm using my scale for precision here, then add your butter. As always, exact measurements are in the description below. Place your saucepan over low to medium heat and stir constantly. We are gently melting and combining everything. You start to see little bubbles forming, that's exactly what we want. Let it simmer for about 4 minutes, stirring the whole time. Once it's done, remove from the heat and cover the cream. If you want to be extra precise, you can place plastic wrap right on the surface to prevent skin from forming. I'm using a wax wrap here and it worked just fine. We just want to keep that lovely cream from drying out on top. Let the cream cool to room temperature before we add the sour cream. This step is important. If it's too warm, it will mess up the texture. Once your cream has cooled, it's time for the final touch, adding the sour cream and mixing it all together. You might notice I'm using slightly different ingredient weights for my cream. That's because my family prefers less sweet cream, but remember the exact proportions for the traditional sweetness are in the description. Alright, the rolls are baked, the cream is ready, it's assembly time. If you are using all 15 rolls for your cake, you start with 5 rolls for the first layer. Each subsequent layer will have 1 less roll, creating that iconic pyramid or heart shape. For this video, I've decided to make both a cake and some individual cookies, so I'll be assembling my cake with 9 rolls and saving the rest for the delicious cookies. Also, since my serving plate is a bit smaller, I'm carefully trimming the edges of my rolls to ensure perfect fit. I'll start with 4 rolls for my first layer, then spread a generous amount of our dreamy cream. The next layer will have 3 rolls, followed by our final layer of 2 rolls. If you opt to use all 15 rolls for your cake, you'll end up with 5 beautiful layers. 5 rolls for the first, 4 for the second, 3 for the third, 2 for the fourth, and the single roll for the very top layer. With that many rolls, you won't even need to trim the edges. Once all the layers are stacked, coat the whole thing with the remaining cream, top and sides. Let it drip a little, rustic is beautiful here. Now let's decorate your cake. You can drizzle with chocolate or, like me, blend some walnuts into fine powder. My walnuts are perfectly blended now, so it's time to generously sprinkle them over our cake, and just like that, our cake Monastery Hut is complete. Now for the hardest part, pop your stunning cake into the refrigerator for at least 2 hours or even better overnight to allow that cream to firm up. And that's it, your Monastery Hut Cake is ready to enjoy.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. It's my birthday?
No, it's not.
Ah.
It's rich, soft, tangy, buttery, and packed with cherry goodness. Once you try this cake, I promise you'll want to make it again and again. If you enjoyed this recipe, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more simple yet stunning bakes like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.